Welcome back to Real Talk, episode 197. I'm your host, Nathan. I'm joined by the man himself, Matthew Neves, to my left. And today we are going to be reviewing Danny Boyle's latest film, 28 Years Later.
The sequel to the long-awaited 28 Days Later. And they also made it 28 weeks later. We can talk about that too, I
Yeah,
guess.
but Danny Boyle wasn't interested.
He wasn't interested in that. Most of the crew from the OG were not interested in that.
Yeah,
But no, I guess we should talk about those two films before talking about this one.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
think you have to kind of set the stage because this is a long time coming for this movie to come out, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, 28 Days Later, um, a cult classic.
Yeah.
Uh,
Amongst like horror fans, I would say this is
yeah,
the one that a lot of people bring up.
absolutely. An early Cillian Murphy performance,
Really good.
one of the best.
Really fucking good,
he's
dude.
he's so good in that movie.
Like,
He really like. I actually kind of think that movie might be bad if it's somebody else.
I agree. I really do. Cause like this everyman type of trope that you see in these horror films, like if
Yeah.
you don't get a good lead,
No,
you're fucked. And ever since 2002, man, Cillian Murphy had it.
he
So
really did, and it's really cool to go back to that movie and see that he had it in 2002
Mhm.
and played that everyman so well. Um, I don't. Yeah, I really think that movie could be bad without him. I don't necessarily like the way that movie shot. It gives me a fucking headache if
the
I'm being
gimmick
completely
wears off
honest.
quick
Yeah,
because I understand why they shot it like
sure.
that. And it's that camcorder thing, but it's like I agree. The shaky cam, this is like the Jason Bourne era where everyone had to fucking move like this.
In 2025, that's a hard watch for me,
Yeah.
and it just gave me a headache. It's just really jarring, but
I like the ending.
I was invested into that movie.
Yeah.
The emotion, I
Mhm.
felt it, the stakes,
Mhm.
the ending.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I think it's a great zombie film.
Yeah. I agree because of, like I feel like the ending was more of a clear indication of, like, not only did they change it from the camcorder to the actual film,
Yes.
but it's kinda like a hopeful message, and, this came out in 2002, so I'm assuming it's talking about, like, post 9/11 and stuff like
Sure.
that, and I thought it was a beautiful way to introduce that, especially with the soldier plot line as
Yeah.
well. That was really fucking intense, which I really liked as well, but I do agree, I feel like the gimmick of the shaky cam zombies overstayed its welcome, and this movie is, like,
It
just
was
kept going with it.
it was too much of that. It really
Yeah,
was, and it just I couldn't. It took me out of a lot of scenes that I wish were shot differently. Do
same.
you know what I mean? It's like, conceptually I like the scene, but the
Mm,
way it's shot just like
yeah,
is bothering me, you know?
really annoying, I would say. That was probably the one that aged the worst in that film, I would say.
I would say so.
And then, like, what, 5 years after, they make a 28 Weeks Later with none of the crew and cast back, so it's like a whole other
Right. So the original was written by Alex
Alex. Yeah,
Garland
yeah.
and directed by Danny Boyle, and this is a return. The both of them coming together in this new film.
Yeah, that's true, yeah, because Alex Garland, since then, has done so many films,
Right.
writing and directing, so this is kind of like a weird, like, reunion for them where it's like, "We're back, we're making another one," and it's I don't know. I don't know, what did you think of that? Because they also shot it on iPhones for 28 Years
Right. There's a
Later.
lot of talks about that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't put too much stock into that because it's like, shot on iPhone with like
Yeah.
tens of thousands of dollars of
Oh, yeah.
rigs around them.
Right, right. I'm just thinking
It's
of the
like,
creator. Remember when we talked about that, and
yeah,
they used a really cheap camera for that. I was just wondering if, like
it's impressive. And I'm sure you've seen the famous clip of like them all like lined up for like this like bullet time kind of sequence that they do where they
yeah,
like, they'll shoot a zombie in the head with an arrow, freeze, and then like go
very
around.
video game, yeah.
Yeah, it's very bullet time. It's very early 2000s.
Yeah.
Um, which is cool. But as far as the iPhone goes, it's not something that I necessarily noticed that much.
No.
It was more just like I like the way this one was shot a little
Mhm.
bit more.
I agree,
It
yeah.
still had a touch of the chaotic editing that you can expect from the franchise.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was a little bit more tame with its cinematography,
And I appreciate that.
and
I
I
feel like in
I
this day
really
and
do
age,
appreciate
we
that.
we should probably hold on shots and take a breather and,
Yeah,
delve into this world rather than just, punk rock chaotic, like,
yeah.
zombies going berserk.
Quickly, 28 weeks later, before we talk about this one, this is
Yeah.
such a I don't have much on this film because I was, like, yawning like crazy. This is such a forgettable film to me.
I would say the opening of 28 Weeks Later is my favorite opening out of all 3 of these movies.
Okay.
It's such a beautiful short film kind of
Yeah.
thing where the dad just abandons his
Yeah.
wife and kids, and the music hits, the theme which, by the way, shout out to the 28 Days Later theme.
Oh,
One of
yeah.
the best.
It's awesome.
It hypes you up, you're like fucking chills, goosebumps, everything,
It
and then
is
28
awesome.
weeks later, the scene ends with him on the boat, and he's just, like, hyperventilating. He's like, his whole family, everyone he knew is dead.
Right.
Perfect. Then the rest of the movie happens. I don't give a fucking shit. It took me 2 sittings to finish it.
Yeah, they should have rolled the credits right
Literally. It should have just been a
there.
short film. Put it on YouTube and people are, "Oh, shit, that's a nice sequel to 28 Days." But no, the rest of the film is such a slog. Like, Hawkeye's in it, Jeremy Renner.
Yeah,
I
Jeremy
don't give a
Renner.
fucking shit. They all die. Who cares?
Yeah, it's just so forgettable. More chaotic editing and cinematography in that movie.
And not for a good reason, because at
No, it
least the
just
gimmick of the camcorder, but no, it just looks bad.
it gave me a headache
Oh,
too.
dude, the explosion
Oh
scene?
my god.
Oh, I wanted to turn it off
Yeah.
then. Fuck.
Yeah, I just really couldn't get into that movie at all. I was struggling throughout. It really just felt like, "Oh, I have to watch this. I don't want to." Like, if we weren't doing this episode,
It was
I would
such a
turn
chore.
this shit off right now.
You know what
Yeah.
it reminded me of? It reminded me of that one movie at Rogers Home Video that you would see all the time, but
Sure.
nobody would pick it up because they were
Yeah.
just like, "Wait, that's not the 28 day."
Always in stock.
It looks like 28 Days Later poster, but no, that's the other one. I was like, "Oh." So then
Yeah.
you walk past it.
And that movie came out in 2007.
Yeah,
So, it's been a while, to say the
it's
least.
been a
This
minute.
franchise has been dormant for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Picked up in 2025 with the original director and writer. And this is supposed to be the first film of a trilogy.
Fuck.
The
See, I
second film
okay.
is already shot and was shot at the same time as this one,
Yeah.
which is called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and is directed by the Marvel's director, Nia DaCosta.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want 5 more of these. Yeah. That's what I want.
What was the rush? What was the mindset of uh, doing another one at the same time when you're not even sure if the appetite for this franchise is there?
I'm curious what the headspace of Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are, because I know Alex Garland just did that war film.
Right.
He did Civil War and then another film called Warfare.
That's right.
So I'm thinking, I heard an interview of him saying like he's kind of done with movies, but then Danny Boyle kind of brought him back to this
Hmm.
fucking movie. But also, what has Danny Boyle done? Like he's done a lot of great films in his career, but also he's one of those directors where he can swing, but boy, he can miss.
Oh, for
Oh, he
sure.
fucking misses and you feel it. You feel it in your heart. I was like, "Oh, that's a shit one." So I
Yeah,
don't know
absolutely.
I don't know career-wise where they're at, but maybe they're just like the Avatar effect where it's like, "Yeah, let's just make a bunch of these now. We could just do that until we're like old and retire."
I just don't know if this is the franchise to do it, right? And it's like, I don't even know necessarily. Like, I think they were kind of just like, okay, we'll set up the trilogy for you guys.
Mhm.
I don't think they're necessarily going to be, hands on the rest of these films.
No, probably just producers.
But a trilogy, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. I guess that insinuates that it's going to focus on
The bone, like that area that they were in at the end.
Ralph Fiennes' character.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes. Yeah, or
Or-
Ralph Fiennes.
yeah,
Probably. I don't know. I never really we don't need it is the thing. I
right.
don't feel like we needed that. We don't need like a bunch of setups for more fucking movies. I feel like 28 years later should have just been contained. And that's my biggest complaint I would say about this particular film is that it's not self-contained. It's relying on more films to come out in the future that I don't want to see.
This movie did kind of make money though. I mean, it passed 100 million worldwide.
What? Holy shit.
That's insane.
Made more than the others.
Yeah, it's the franchise record for this film,
What the fuck?
which I don't. That's one of these ones that I just scratch my head at. I scratch my head at some of these movies with massive marketing and massive actors in them that bomb, and this one I'm like, I didn't really hear any hype.
No. Amongst people online, I heard a little
Sure.
bit where it's just like, "Oh, you should see this new film, 28 Years, because it's the sequel." I'm like, "Okay, sure."
I get it's a long anticipated sequel for fans of this franchise. I guess I just didn't know that there was that many fans of this franchise. I thought it was
I
maybe I thought
agree.
it was a little more cult than it actually is.
Yeah.
But 28 years later, let's get right into it.
Fuck yeah.
Um this movie follows, so this is obviously, 3 almost 3 decades
Yeah.
after the original Outbreak,
Mhm.
and it follows a protagonist of this movie is a kid,
Mhm.
a young boy named Spike, who embarks on a dangerous journey from a quarantine island to the infected mainland in search of medical help for his dying mother. But it doesn't start like that.
No. No, starts with the dad
There's
and
a little
him.
bit of a bait and switch, right?
Mhm.
Where it starts with the dad and it's set up as a coming of age movie for this kid Spike,
Yeah, very much so.
where he's 12 years old now, so he's a grown man apparently,
Mhm.
and it's time for him to go kill a zombie because that's what you do in this little island that they're
Yeah.
in. And I'm on board
Yeah.
absolutely in this point. This
Mhm.
movie starts with a very jarring scene of kids watching Teletubbies and
Oh,
then
yeah, the
getting
Teletubby.
murdered.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, "Oh, whoa, this is kind of a crazy start." And then we cut to, this father and son dynamic. We learn
Mhm.
that his mother is ill. It kind of looks like just mental illness. She's like, "Oh,
Right.
stuck in bed, whatever."
Mhm.
You're not really sure what it is. And we follow this adventure of the son and the dad going out to get his first kill.
Yeah,
This is where I think the movie is the absolute strongest.
I agree.
And it's set up as a people movie first,
Mhm.
not a zombie movie,
Right.
which I like. It
Mhm.
felt tonally very different from the other films.
Yeah.
I loved the uneasiness of that scene of them going out, finding the infected, and you kind of see how the infected have evolved over these
Yeah.
times and mutated, and I'm like, "That's great."
It's like we got a slug one here, we got the fucking
Yeah.
alpha here.
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, yeah, I guess that would make sense, right?"
Right, because they just start to, like, mutate, right, over
Mhm.
you gotta think it's 3 decades of them.
But there would be, like, a leader and stuff like that. I always think of, like, I remember watching Army of the Dead, and there was a shot of a zombie looking at a statue, a Greek statue, and then the next scene, they're the leader.
Right.
They don't spell it out for you, but it's like, yeah, there would be a leader. If these zombies have been around for that long.
They've evolved. Right, and, like, the theory of the first one was, like,
Mhm.
quarantine them and let them starve.
Yeah.
Clearly, that hasn't worked,
No.
and these zombies have figured out how to feed themselves
Yeah.
and stay alive, right? Which is cool. This is
Mhm.
like a cool arc that you don't see in zombie movies. You
Yeah,
don't get to
no.
see them evolve. You don't get to see this virus usually evolve over years. Most zombie movies take place within a few months. Like,
Yeah. Also, like, the typical thing is I always point at, like, World War Z's terrible example of being like, "Oh, it's all the army. The army's oh, whoa, look at that." I'm like,
right.
"No, do this.
Do this.
Do
Yeah.
this."
So it's very personable. The father and son, I'm eating that shit up. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is great. This is awesome, scary, tense, all of that. Great character. The father, I gotta find out
Aaron
who the
Taylor Johnson?
yeah, great.
I think there's a certain part of him where I'm like, when he gets mad at his kid, I don't feel it as much. He
Okay.
because I don't know why, but, like, I always think of him as he's kick-ass.
Right.
How does he have a
I
kid?
know, I
You
know.
know? But the look,
Yeah,
got the beard, he's got disheveled. I'm like, "You look like it," but then when you're yelling at your kid, I'm like,
sure. But the
"It's
kid too, Alfie Williams,
he's the best performance in this film,
it's not even close.
hands down."
And taking a chance to like, the kid is the true protagonist of this
Yep.
film.
Mhm. I'd say he's the best child actor out of all of these 28 films because all the 28 films have kids,
Yeah,
and all them well, the other 2 movies, the child actors, they're not giving them much.
sure,
They're
yeah.
pretty wooden, whereas this kid, oh, he's emoting. He's giving it his all.
He's just incredible. You feel the fear in him. You
Yeah.
feel his arc. It's just you feel the emotion in those sad scenes.
Yeah,
It's just
man.
really powerful, right? So after the father and son stuff, you know, he kind of catches his dad cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, ah, shit, I don't think my dad wants my mom to get better. I got
No.
to take matters into my own hands.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck it, we're going out there into the mainland with mom to find this rumored doctor that
Yeah.
went rogue.
Yeah, exactly.
played by Ralph Fiennes, which is great.
Mhm.
Um, that's when I'm like, okay,
I'm still on board.
I'm still on board on
Yeah.
this journey with the mom. This
No.
is still cool.
Mhm.
Then one of the zombies is pregnant.
Okay, let's talk about that now.
Then one of the zombies is pregnant, and we hear a zombie screaming in the distance,
Yep.
and the mom just runs to this zombie noise.
Yep.
And in a bus is a zombie giving birth.
Yep.
And this zombie has an emotional moment
Mhm.
with this kid's mom.
Yep.
And I fucking hated that scene.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. It was so uncomfortable, especially considering I told Christian this. I was in the theater. There was a dad with 2 kids. These kids were like 8 years
Those
old.
kids are scarred for life.
Yeah, dude. I'm just taking that in now. I'm like, what the fuck, kind of.
Those kids have seen more than the Spike Kid has seen in this film.
No, for real, man. Fucking hell. I did not like that scene either. I don't think it served I don't think it served a purpose within this film, narratively
No,
speaking. It
it
wasn't trying
didn't.
to
What
lead
were they
into it.
trying to say? Oh, like creation trumps all, or like I don't know what the message of that was when they're
No.
like fucking holding hands and shit.
Yeah,
Al
I don't
Also,
get
like,
that.
you get that, like, soldier side character, who I think is a really bad side
I
character,
think
because
he's
then
just
you start, going into, like, the jokes of, like, "Oh, like, what's a girl with lip injections?
Oh,
Why is her
yeah.
face like
What's
that?
wrong with her
What's
face?
an iPhone?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That whole that all that stuff
It
felt
takes me out
very,
of it, man.
especially considering we knew how the soldiers were handled in the first movie.
Right.
They felt pretty realistic. Whereas this guy, I don't want to be mean to him. I'm just like looking at him like you're gonna be dead in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I get they try to set that up with a little bit of, like, exposition of him being like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I should have been an Amazon delivery driver," whatever he says.
Yeah, some stupid
He's
shit
like, "I
like
just
that.
joined the Navy. I shouldn't have been here," whatever.
Yeah.
To me, it was just, like, very unnecessary. Like,
Hmm.
they did such a great job of building this world
Yeah.
and where things are at 28 years later
Hmm.
in this area.
Like I think the most interesting thing about like that pregnancy and stuff like that is the fact that zombies can give birth. Like that
Right.
concept is like, okay, what are they evolving to now? It's like, is the child a zombie? Well, clearly not, because the child's not
Yeah.
fighting or anything like that. And like that's fine, but the shot itself, it took so long, and I'm just like, what are we doing here with the emotion and stuff? I wasn't feeling it as much as I think the movie wanted me to feel. Like 28 weeks later, at least was like, hey, look, it's the father,
Right.
the kid, connection. That's it. I'm fine with that, okay? But this is like, I don't know.
These are where the weird choices start, right? It's
Yeah.
like you get that side character. I'm like, okay, weird choice, but I'm still there.
It's
Then you
not the
get then you
worst.
get the pregnancy. I'm like, okay, really fucking weird choice. Why is this baby involved? And it's like
Yeah.
you try to give me this emotional moment, and then right after, there's the, like, alpha zombie chasing them with his dick out. I'm like, this is very unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, okay, I get logistically speaking, zombies wouldn't have fucking clothes on, but goddamn,
but
man.
goddamn, I
What
didn't
the
need to
fuck?
see that many zombie dicks. I didn't need to see that many zombie dicks. I just didn't need to see it.
Yeah, man, they just no more clothes.
They're just letting it
Fucking
hang.
letting it hang. Yeah, Jesus. But no, it was intense like that alpha dude where like they're shooting arrows at him and he's like, it's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of I'm like, damn.
So then I'm like, okay. And then we get to the doctor, and I'm like, okay, Ralph Fiennes, great.
He's great.
Great fucking actor.
Yep.
Great character. Visually, he looks really cool.
Yeah.
Uh his lines of dialogue are great as Dr. Kelson.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm in again.
Yeah.
And then we get this, some emotion. We
Yeah.
find out what the mom really has. She has cancer.
Yeah.
She's about to die.
That sequence of Ralph Fiennes like taking her out and the music, and it's so fucking beautiful, man. It might be my favorite moment in all these fucking movies because of the music hitting and the
Yeah.
kid's reaction and the lights and the transition of the lights into the next scene. It fades in and it matches the scene. And I'm just like, this is so beautiful. Can this movie hold that?
Yeah.
Can it hold it for me? Because like that part, I felt the raw emotion. I was like, especially when the kid has her skull and then puts it.
Puts it on the top. It's a really emotional moment. Very, very emotional
It's really
moment.
good.
I saw this movie with my mom. She was crying like crazy.
Yeah, man. It's so good. That's like,
Because
dude.
it was really emotional, right?
Yeah.
And it's like and works really well for this the story of this kid because it's set up as like it's a coming of age story of him becoming a man and like
Yeah.
his father and killing zombies.
Yeah.
And no, it's still a coming of age story, but it's a coming of age story because he has to grow up
Yeah.
losing his mother
Yeah.
in this difficult way and kind of being on his own
Hmm.
because he has to be.
Yeah. And Ralph Fiennes says a great thing where it's like, we all die.
That's right.
And, it's a beautiful thing. It is. And it's kind of like just taking that next step into it. And
And after that,
fuck, man.
after the my eyes are swelling up.
Right?
I'm feeling good about this movie. I'm like, damn, they went for something different here. This is very ambitious, not what I expected at all.
Hmm.
I understand why Alex Garland and Danny Boyle wanted to come back to this because they had a unique story to tell
Yeah.
within this world. And then we get
Oh,
the Teletubbies.
the Teletubbies are back.
Then we get the Ninja Teletubbies as the final scene of this movie. And basically, the boy's on his own.
Yep.
He says goodbye to the doctor. His
Hmm.
mom's dead.
He's on his own.
He's like, I'm not coming home.
No.
Writes a letter to his dad, drops off the baby on the doorstep.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to do my own thing.
Hmm.
And the movie finishes with him being in a rough situation. Bunch of zombies are approaching. And he gets saved by the kid from the first scene,
All grown up.
all grown up,
Oh.
dressed as a Teletubby
Yeah.
with his Teletubby friends.
Yeah.
And they're all ninjas
Yeah.
and killing zombies in really stupid ways.
Oh my
And
god.
and then the credits roll. And I cannot believe that that's how this movie ends. It is one of the worst endings that I could remember in recent history.
Oh.
It was so hard to remember the highs of this movie when walking out of this with that taste in my mouth.
I would have rated this film higher than 28 Days Later if not for that ending.
Me too.
Fuck me, dude. Are you fucking serious? That's how you're gonna end your film with the Jimmies? Because his name is Jimmy Crystal
Right.
and his cult leader of Jimmies. What the fuck is this?
And is that what we can expect to this sequel that's coming out in January? Is that what the sequel's gonna be? Like, I'm so confused.
I don't fucking want this. I don't want this. That is so. It's not even like fun schlock because of the fact that this movie, the franchise itself, isn't known for that.
No.
All right, this isn't like some B movie schlock. This is like taking itself really seriously. It's set in the UK. These are zombies. People are getting affected by this. They're emotional. They're breaking down. So when you have the scene like this, out of nowhere, the tone is it's nowhere near. It's fucking nowhere near. And I cannot believe how it was all handled, the editing of it, everything like that. It was just like left such a bad taste in my mouth. It made Longlegs' ending look competent.
Absolutely.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I read this up recently. I don't know if you heard about this, but the Jack O'Connell character, Jimmy Crystal, the old guy, his character was inspired by a guy named Jimmy Savile.
Okay.
Have you heard of this guy?
I have
not either. He was a famous person in the UK that after he died, he got outed of doing terrible things to kids and
Sure.
stuff like that. That's the character he's basing it off of. That's what Danny Boyle said. And I'm just like, what are you trying to say, dude? What the fuck are you trying to say about any of this?
So what are they setting up there?
I don't
That they're gonna fuck with Spike?
Yeah, I
You're
don't
telling me he
know.
overcame this tragedy, hardship to get molested by the Teletubbies?
Yeah, dude.
Like, this is
like
terrible.
legitimate. It sounds even worse than on paper.
This
Because
can't be.
I'm not even joking, Nathan.
It
Like
just can't be, man.
there's a difference between like fucking up and like completely destroying everything that you made at the beginning of your movie. I'm shocked. And the fact that Alex Garland and Danny Boyle checked this off. They were like, "Yeah, we should add this." It's
No,
just
it's
because I understand the weirdness you were talking about the pregnancy, the weirdness about, the soldier and stuff like that, like, but those are, like, regular issues that were in the other movies.
yeah, absolutely.
They still felt grounded in this
I
world.
agree.
This does not.
No.
This is out of nowhere. This is out of pocket. This is like the tone l there's we could just say it's a bad ending, but it's more than that.
It's more than that. It's more than that because it just kind of ruins the film. Like, as a whole, it's hard to get past this ending.
Yeah. It's fucking tragic, actually, because I think about the scene where the mom dies, and it's, like, very emotional, and the film got me
It
there.
feels like a slap in the face to give me that scene after that.
Even the scene where the father and the son are running in the night back to the
Oh
place,
my god.
and the music in that. The
Great
music's
scene.
so good, and what I give respect to in this movie is they don't have the 28 Days Later theme.
That's true, yeah.
They could've. They could've easily at the Jimmy part where it's like, "Oh, mate, let's go fucking kill these zombies or whatever, and let's do some, jujitsu." I'm like, "What the fuck?" But they don't. I wanna put restraint there. I give respect there, but the fucking ending, I hope they make a cut where they just delete that.
Seriously, like, you could just cut that scene out.
But as of now, as of 2025, that is the movie. That is how the movie ends, and that's why I kind of like it less.
Yeah.
I like it less
How
because of that.
how could you not like it less because of that? Like, I don't understand people defending this end. I don't understand how you could defend this ending as, like,
I'm shocked people are saying that. I know people are like, "Whoa, that was insane, batshit," and stuff like, yeah, you could say it's fucking stupid
yeah,
and batshit. Yeah, I guess you could, but like defending it in a serious manner, like this is fits with the tone of the rest of the film. You're wrong.
yeah.
That there's no fucking way you can say that.
Yeah, there was moments in this film throughout where the tones were a little bit conflicting
Yeah.
and a little bit all over the place, but they had me invested.
Yeah.
Good characters, good performances, and, very tense scenes.
Mhm.
But to give me this as the ending,
Jesus
like, we
Christ.
could talk about this ending for half an hour.
Literally, like, it's so impressive how it
I
was all done.
I can't believe that this was the end.
It's almost like a joke cut where Danny Boyle and Alex are like, "Okay, okay, we have some time on set. We finished early. Why don't we just shoot this scene and just say just shits and giggles? We could send it to fucking Sony and they'll laugh or whatever." Like, it seems like a joke movie, like a
Yeah,
joke scene,
yeah.
not an official scene in your fucking movie that you've been hyping up for God knows how long. Like, what? That like
So real quick, where do you think they go? 28 years later, the Bone Temple.
here's where I want them to go. Okay, uh, fuck this Jimmy arc, cult leader, fuck that, all that shit. I want to see 28 years, 28 plus years later, where the kid's grown up, he's in his 30s, and the kid,
Mm,
they go at it. Like the father basically trains the baby,
I
and he's
like
like
that.
28. Wouldn't that be fucking awesome? So it's like a half zombie, half whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what I want to see.
28 years later, I'm gonna give this film it's a 6 out of 10, man. It's a 6 out of 10 that could have easily been a 7, maybe even 7.5 out of 10,
Yeah.
but the ending just absolutely ruined it for me.
I agree. I gave F1 at 3 out of 5, so there ain't no fucking way I'm giving this 3 out of 5. I'm giving this a generous 2.5 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 10. Like, fucking hell, man.
28 years later, almost a great movie.
Just so close, man.
So incredibly close.
Fuck.
Let us know what you thought of this movie in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe to your boys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Brush your hair.
Peace.